Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence will not be for the WBA belt. Unfortunately, due to the WBA's stupidity, we'll get into that. First, I wanted to get into my thoughts about the press conference yesterday between Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Great job by both guys, class guys. Both of these guys realize, and Manny Pacquiao, it's just not in his nature to trash talk, right? Errol Spence, he realizes that he's not going to get into Manny Pacquiao's head. All right, so there's no need for the trash talk. There's no need for trash talk at all because this fight's going to sell itself. It's a legend in the sport, Manny Pacquiao against one of the top 3 or 4 pound-for-pound guys in the sport, 2 of the top 3 guys in the welterweight division. This fight sells itself. Manny Pacquiao's name is on it. This fight sells itself. No need for the trash talk, show class back and forth. Manny Pacquiao said in the press conference that there's no need for Errol Spence to confide in Floyd Mayweather because he believes that Errol Spence is better than Floyd Mayweather. Now, whether you believe that or not, I don't up to this point, but whether you believe that or not, he's showing respect to his opponent, right? Maybe taking a slight little jab at Floyd at the same time, but he's showing respect to his opponent. And that's one thing I've said in the past throughout this channel is I don't understand why fighters talk down on their opponents because it makes their wins against those guys look less valuable than they actually are. In this case, Manny's talking up Errol, Errol's talking up Manny. So when one of these guys wins this fight, it's going to make this fight look more valuable. It's going to make this fight, this win, look even better, being that both these guys were talking each other up. You know, Errol has given Manny his respect as far as being a legend. Manny has given Errol his respect as far as being one of the best fighters in the game. And they did that again yesterday. And watching this press conference, it further solidifies my thought that this is going to be a 12-round fight. Hearing Errol Spence say that, you know, I'm not going to go for the knockout. I'm not going to search for it. If it presents itself, I'm going to go for it. But I'm going to fight at my speed. I'm going to fight at my pace. And if I see it available, then I'll go for it. He's not going to take unnecessary chances in this fight. I don't think Manny's going to do that either. I think both these guys are gearing up for a 12-round fight. You know, both of them may talk about knockout here and there, but I think they're both gearing up for a 12-round fight here. I think they both have a lot of respect for what each other brings to the table in this fight. And that's what I saw again at the press conference yesterday. It was good seeing Keith Thurman there. Manny and Keith Thurman were having fun back and forth. It was just a good, lighthearted press conference. And there was no need to force any trash talk or anything for that matter, being that this fight is going to sell itself. Both these guys came off as likable guys. And I'm looking forward to this fight as much before the press conference as I am, as much after it as I was before. So love the press conference, love what each guy had to say. And I'm looking forward to a 12-round fight in this fight. Now, as far as the WBA came out later last week saying this fight will not be for the WBA title. Stupidity, hypocrisy, just all bad. And it furthers my hatred towards the four major sanctioning, all sanctioning bodies. They're a necessary evil, I guess, in the sport. But the WBA, this is just stupidity, all right? And Manny Pacquiao and his team came out earlier today and gave a statement on why they disagree with this, showing their anger towards this, saying, you know, I don't know why we're paying sanctioning fees. We paid hundreds of thousands of dollars of sanctioning fees when we don't get notice that you're going to strip us. We don't get notice that you're going to make us a champion in recess. We just got our belt this past weekend from winning the title years ago. All right, so the WBA, and also what I love the most about this statement that Manny Pacquiao put out is he gives a clear example, a specific example of an instance where the WBA recently allowed a guy to go 22 months without fighting and still defend his belt. Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman went 2017 to 2019 without fighting, was still able to defend his belt. Manny Pacquiao, similar thing here. And then you throw on top the fact that in 2020 we had shutdowns. Guys weren't able to fight for a while. So you should have took that into consideration here and allowed Manny and Errol Spence to fight for the WBA in this case. I mean, just think of the stupidity here. Not only the hypocrisy that we just talked about is, look, I can understand people out there saying, look, Manny didn't live up to the rules of the WBA. He shouldn't be able to have the WBA and defend it against Errol Spence. I understand that on the surface, but you look at the fact that the sanctioning bodies decide when they want to enforce rules and when they don't. They're not rigid about their rules. They make exceptions all the time. So it's stupid. It's not only hypocritical, but it's stupid that you have two of the top 3 fighters at welterweight fighting each other, and you're not going to put the WBA belt on the line. Instead, you're going to stick to the rule that Ugas is the champion. Ugas hasn't fought since September. Beat a guy who wasn't in the top 10. You elevate him to champion, and he doesn't even have a fight lined up right now. 9, 10 months later, 8, 9, 10 months later, he doesn't have a fight lined up. So you're going to continue to have him at the champion when you could have just bumped him down and gave him a little trinket and then elevated Manny back up to champion and had this fight for the IBF, WBC, WBA, and the ring titles. All right, and it clears up confusion at welterweight, right? Because you have now undisputed is 2 fights away if you do that. You have Manny and Errol fighting for 3 of the 4 major belts. And then you have Terrence Crawford over here with the other one. So the winner of this fight could possibly, although politics of boxing, I know, but possibly go into talks to fight Terrence Crawford to become undisputed at 147. But now this muddies the water and throws Ugas in the mix. And it just makes things more difficult to follow for casual fans. Just brutal. Just brutal. And just the fact that it just makes sense. 2 of the top 3 guys at welterweight. Have them fight for the WBA. Instead of having Ugas against God knows who for the WBA championship. Just stupidity. Stupidity, hypocrisy, sick of it. Sick of it, sick of it. Sick of it. So, unfortunately, Manny won't be fighting for the WBA, but this is still for the WBC and the IBF, and it's still for the Ring, which the Ring magazine has their belt, 1 belt in each division for the lineal champion. And that's how it should be done, right? 1 belt, Ring does it for the lineal champion, which signifies all the way back to the roots. Welterweight, in the welterweight division, the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. All right, all the way back to its roots. So the Ring has their belt on the line in this fight as well. So you have 2 of the 4 major belts, and then you throw in the Ring there for the lineal championship. So 3 important belts on the line in this fight. Unfortunately, WBA won't be in the mix because it made too much sense. And boxing can't make sense, right? Boxing can't make sense. So good on Manny Pacquiao and his team for going at the WBA for their hypocrisy. For not showing leniency. If there was ever a chance, if there was ever a time to show some leniency, it was this. It was this. WBA couldn't do it. Couldn't get out of their own way. So that's just my thoughts on that. But as far as the press conference, man, good to see the press conference yesterday. 2 guys showing class. Looking forward to the fight August 21st. I'm out, man. God bless. Peace.